Happy Monday. Welcome back to Retake the Week. Man, it's been a brutal weekend. A lot of Counter-Strike to follow from literally dusk till dawn or dawn till dusk, whatever. It was a lot of Counter-Strike, starting at awkward hours, ending at awkward hours. And with me ill, it was quite the nightmare to actually keep track of and keep up to date with. But I think I've done a decent enough job to bring you this episode, as I do every Monday with my co-host Quacker. We'll talk to him in a minute, though. He can sit there looking pretty. Just eye candy, really. That's all he's really here for. Let's be honest. We don't care about what he has to say. We just like looking at him while he says it. We need to thank the members, though. The members are the ones who make this show viable, special, possible. They bring, joy into my life. They are the people that we need to thank for this, and also to especially thank for the shows being available on streaming platforms for those who are more audio only focused when they go enjoy their podcasts. We do need to shout out the members for making all of that viable, all that possible. And yeah, they get access to all this content, they get access to the right to vote, and click join below if you want to become a member and get access to all those videos, plus, support the channel in the best way possible. Quacker, we're back to you, finally. How you doing? Been up to anything special?
No, a lot of prep work. This is the big winter event is happening in Sweden, which is our very own Swedish Cup, and we're just setting everything up. Which times are we going to be there? Which times are we going to be working? Which times are we going to, all of it, like my bookings, my travel, and everything, and it's going to be so much fun. So yeah. That's been most of this week. We have a lot of prep work. We're doing on-screen graphics. We're doing articles to prepare. We've had the qualifiers wrap up this week, which is most of the CS I've been watching. And yeah, it's looking good. That's everything I've done. So everything else has been kind of been on pause for this week.
Okay, fair enough. Right. This has been, a couple of crazy events. We're going to start with... We're going to start with Thunderpick, which to me felt weird, that the Thunderpick World Finals is the bigger of the events compared to the CS Asia Championship. But hey, it is what it is. Let's get right into this with a grand final that had us, baited, really. Hooked for the wrong reason. NAVI up 2-0. Going into map 3 looking fantastic, right? Looking absolutely rampant, really. I didn't think there was any chance they could throw it away. I was like, surely they would win one of these final three. Their map pick of Nuke is coming up next. You've got Makaze showing, a decent level, especially on this third map of Nuke. He looked fantastic. Imma's playing well. Bit's playing. Instead, they have their most lackluster T-side of the event pretty much so far, despite a potent Makaze, despite him putting up his numbers. They should end up completely falling apart beyond the pistol round, really. From that point onwards, utterly capitulate. Nuke goes 13-8 the way of Furia. A respectable scoreline. Still got 2 more attempts, but then 13-5 on Dust 2. 13-1 on Train. Just nothing going on Train. Absolutely nothing going. No part of their T-side really making any sense or functioning. How did this happen? Because Quack, I don't know about you, but after Mirage Inferno, I couldn't envision... Sure, a 3-2 loss, if it's an absolute war, you get some monster performances out of some Furia players, like Molodoy drops 30 on the next 3 maps each, like, sure, whatever, But instead, it's just a whole team falls apart whilst another one just takes advantage and goes and wins. What went through your mind watching that game?
I wasn't watching the game, but F1 was on at the same time, so I wasn't. F1 was on at the same time. But I would imagine what's going through Navi's head was absolute sheer fucking horror, because you cannot play a marathon series like that and then end up on the 5th map and get 13-1 on Train, no less, which I don't think is a good Furia map. I would say that Navi are the better team on that map, just off of recent form. They're the ones who actually play it a bit. And get absolutely destroyed is kind of insane. And I think the B-Trams had a stat out, which I assume that, like, it wasn't like Navi were supposed to win it, but he had a stat out which was expected rounds on each of the 5 maps. And Navi had something like 4 expected rounds there, but they only won the 1. And when that's the way things are looking, like Fury had 10 expected rounds on Train, but they won 13. So when you have that sort of stat line, it's like, okay, you're losing to yourself. Like, you had the opportunities, you just didn't capitalize on them. And like, full credit to Furia there, but it's also a little bit like, looking at that, I get the feeling that like, okay, Navi should have won that map, or at least they should have been a little bit more competitive in it, because like, you're throwing away good opportunities. And Train, we know the economy sort of snowballs. Those two or three rounds that they should have won and didn't. That's gonna add up on a map like that. So, I honestly, I feel like the series as a whole is obviously like, it's got to be tough coming from 2-0 up to 2-2. Like, that's got to be really tough, honestly, as well, because like, you've slogged through it, but it's also like, at that point you really have to win it when you go 2-0 up. I don't think we've had that in an event as big as this, where we had a full reverse sweep in a best of 5.
A true reverse sweep, because I still don't count going down 1-0 in a best of 3 a reverse sweep. I just like, what are we saying here? Like, it's just 2-3 maps.
No.
But on this sort of thing, this sort of stage, the standard level, pretty insane.
Yeah, but I do find the quote, a lot of people reacted to this negatively, and the quote from Blade that their map pool is not ready for a best of 5. I think that's just fucking bullshit, especially when you end on Train. Like I said, Train is a map which Navi kind of played. They played it 8 times. This was the 8th. And they've won it 6 times. Like, there's no way it's to follow the map pool that you lose 13-1 on a map which is good for you. Like, there's just no way.
Quite importantly, you've had Makaze 3 months. The map pool hasn't changed in that period. What do you mean you're not ready for a best of 5? Like,
do you know which of these two? Like, the Train is Navi's best map out of these two. Like,
by win rate,
statistically, by win rate, They don't play it. They don't play it the most, but it's still played it like 7 times, and you've won it. At that point they'd only lost it once out of 7 maps. Furia instead, they played it 8 times, but they'd only won 4. Like, they had 50% on it. It's their worst win rate map. And they go in and absolutely dumpster you there. That's not a map pool issue. That is just fucking plain wrong, if I'm honest. So, quite that I find really silly. I find that to be really silly from Blade.
It's a weird excuse. It's a weird thing to say, because I'm like, sure, I guess you can say you had only played Train against weaker teams. Like, if you look at the teams they played on it, they played like Maus and Furia. Those are, well, now Furia, but Maus to that point was the only team they played who's like really top 10. Everyone else is Fnatic and IP, M80, Passion UA, 3D Max, Hotu. Like, in the last 3 months, they hadn't played any top teams except Maus, and Maus absolutely crushed them. So in that sense, I guess you could say the Train was like a bit of a bogey team, a bogey map, like it's a trap.
But against Furia,
you've also still had 3 months. Like, I don't get how you can. It's just like Hallie going, I got the prep wrong on this game and this game and this game. It's like, you can't tell me that as a coach and expect me to be okay with it. Like, this is an indictment, not a good excuse. You should be able to win 3 out of 5 maps. Like, in your head, when you go into a series, 3 out of 5 should be feasible. You get to ban your perma, they ban 1. If you can't then, like, see yourself winning 3 out of 5 maps, you fucked up as a coach. Like, that's just not acceptable. It's not like this is a fresh team. It's not like it's a fresh lineup. They should have done a lot better. And once they went up 2-0, there's no excuse. Like, you're up 2-0, you go win 1 of 3. 1 of 3. The Gamer Legion Classic. 1 of 3. And they couldn't.
Yeah, they did the really challenging one as well, but like, they took Inferno, which is like, glancing at this veto, it's like, okay, Navi should have won Mirage. It's a good map for them. Inferno is a good Furia map, and I don't think Navi have played particularly good on Inferno recently, so it's good. Yeah, they take that 13-9, solid. Then they have Nuke, which I've felt should have been a slam dunk for Navi, to be honest. Nuke has always been a good Navi map. And then Dust, maybe there I could see that you lose. But like, they should have closed this 3-0 if I'm looking at it, to be honest. And if nothing else, 3-2. You just have to be able to do that.
They've had big wins on Dust 2. They've had big wins on Inferno. They've had no big wins on Train, but at that point, you've made it all the way to Train. Like, from already being up, like, I don't know, man. I didn't understand how it went so badly. I genuinely thought they had everything going for them at 2-0.
Yeah.
Like, I actually lost focus a bit on the game. Like, I was busy Sunday, but I was like, okay, 2-0, put this down. You know, just stop, be present in what I'm actually doing. I don't need to be watching this. This should end 3-0, 3-1 maybe, but there's no way they throw it all away. Tune back in during map 5 when that's starting, because I'm like, oh, what is going on? And yet, utterly destroyed. All of a sudden, that meticulous, well-crafted T-side isn't enough to get it done. You need people to hit shots. You need Makaze to make miracles. Because sometimes, honestly, when I'm watching him entry for this team, it is a bit just solo YOLO, let me go kill someone. And he's admitted in interviews, I think, not too long ago, or even after this event, or during this event, he is going a bit too solo, a bit too ham. But again, it's been 3 months. Like, how has this not been addressed? He played like this day one.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to what the hell's going on in that team.
You didn't even have that like crazy Molodoi impact, like on final map, I guess, but like it's not.
Final map he goes ham, but before that he's forgettable. Like, he's not playing.
Yeah, he's
rookie of the year Molodoi.
I mean, Fallen keeps being good on the rifle apparently, but it's more so Keiserato and Yuri. Like, it's like Keiserato and Yuri are not players that I think should be able to win a best of 5 like alone. And here they kind of did. They kind of, not alone. It's a team effort, but it's like,
yeah,
they're not that sort of championship level hard carries. That's not how I look at those players. So it feels like a weird win. But hey, you know,
and he has been, but you know,
yeah,
there's a reason he doesn't have an MVP yet before this final, before this game. There's a reason for that, and that's just been.
Yeah.
He's always needed that second star or someone else to take that step up in order to actually win the big events. And I feel like we're running out of excuses for Navi. At this point, it might just be, are they even that well led? Like,
at this point,
not in terms of strategy, not in terms of theory. That's well and good. Like, are they just lacking better man management? Like, in terms of controlling emotions and getting your players back into it mentally? Like, is there just a lack of leadership in that sense? Was that JL's kind of himbo role? Like, just, what up, guys? We can still win. Everyone, let's go. Yeah, look, like, you know, was that his thing? Like, is that literally his job and no one else can replace that?
On this show, I'm the guy who usually says that's important. It's like, I'm the guy who's usually saying, well, he's probably doing a lot for the team. He's doing a lot outside the server. He's a big vibes guy. I feel like Navi have lost that. They've really lost that. There's nobody else on Navi who's going to bring that to the team. And JL was obviously that guy. It was obvious to anybody watching this team. And it does matter a lot. Like, it does matter a lot in all sports. And in these sort of crucial moments, as I imagine this best of 5 was, as the Formula 1 race yesterday also was, because we had exactly the same moment, just as a parallel. Lando Norris, he's chasing down Charles Leclerc. He cannot get past. His tires are fucking shot. It's at the end of the race. He's got like 15 laps to go. And he says like, he says on the radio, like, I can't fucking do it. I'm going to stay third. And like, he starts dropping back. Then his engineer is like, take 5 laps, do it in. You can still do it. Come on. Like, he's a hype man. And he actually makes the overtake work. And it's like, it's that sort of stuff really matters in all sports. And it matters in CS as well. I think JL was that. Navi don't have that in anybody else. Makaze, like, I would hazard a guess that Makaze is definitely not that. I haven't seen, if it's one thing I haven't really seen out of Makaze, it's personality. Like that.
Yeah, not to be too harsh.
And if
I see what you mean, yes. It may sound harsh on the surface, but I know exactly what you mean. Like, he's not been
and it's not supposed
an emotional leader. And he's 18. Like, he's the academy kid.
He's not supposed to be.
Exactly. It's a bit much to expect.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's something they really didn't replace in JL. You're not going to get that out of Alexibi. You never in my life. You're not going to get that out of Blade. I don't even think you're going to get that out of Imme, really. Not really the sort of the JL. And we talk about other players. Like Jax has always been talked about like this. Like how Jax was always that kind of guy. And I see a lot of parallels between JL and Jax. You know, they're sort of similar players in that sense. I think Magic's to a degree. Spirit has had a similar thing with him. And there, of course, JL was still delivering on the server in a way that neither Jax or Magic's was really doing. So they replaced the one part, the on-server part, but I do think they have neglected that separate part. But yeah, I'm sort of feeling like at this point it's a continual thing. We're coming up towards the Budapest Major, which is like round about this time, 12 months ago, is when Navi fell out of their really good run. And it's when they started to talk about, oh, the major's important. That's when they lost their first event, one of those blast events where they lost in group stage. And JL was like, oh, like this was always gonna happen. It's like I don't think we wanted to win because we're saving. We didn't want to win this event enough because we know the major's coming. We're prepping for the major. We're about 12 months away from that, and Navi never got back to anywhere near the level they had for most of last year. After that point where they said the major's more important, etc., etc. So at this point, it's a continual thing, and it's like they've been a bit up and down. There's been rises, there's been downfalls, there's been a transfer. It's not a constant thing, but it's like, when do they think that this good level out of Navi, this good level out of this roster is going to come? And it just keeps getting further away.
The thing is, we say that like it's not a second place of finish, like they didn't beat Aurora, the Mongols, on their playoff run. This was a pretty good run. This was pretty impressive finish relative to their year so far. This has been a very strong finish, and they've been decent. Like, in terms of Pro League, they finished top 8, lose to Mouse, it's fine. Thunderpick finished second, lose to Furia, it's fine. It's only okay, it's only tolerable in the long run if you think we're not one of the top teams. Like, if you're okay being just kind of like 6th to 10th, roughly, in the world, probably more like 6th to 8th, but 6th to 10th, roughly, in the world in terms of who you are as a team, like that's your ranking, then yeah, you're fine with it. If you expect yourselves to be title contenders, potential major winners in Budapest, no, this is not acceptable. This is not tolerable. These are not good enough results. So it's all about Navi management, how they see it. But if I'm looking at this team right now, and the way they utterly collapse time and time again, I would be questioning my leadership.
Yep.
And all of this,
it's a tricky thing to solve as well.
We've not even given like Furia their flowers, really, and I think we will eventually, given what we've planned in the schedule. It'll be eventual, but we will get back to it and talk pleasantly, positively about Furia. But for now, we just felt like we need to open up the show with the real story, which is Navi utterly capitulated, and that's a damn shame. It really is, because when Navi are good, when they're on, they play really nice CS. Yeah, I can see the logic to it, the structure to it, the way it's supposed to work. It all makes sense. Ima gets his 125 rating, shooting people in the back, and people who've just tried to kill Mikaze. It's just great theory in terms of how CS should be played. And the fact that they're able to then just play some of the ugliest CS we've ever watched after going up 2-0, yeah, really disappointing. Truly just a shame, really. Almost kills the grand final. Not quite, still a banger 3-2 series. Furia's part of it was fantastic as well. But yeah, a shame for Navi.
It's a shame, and I don't really know how you address it, because what do you don't cut, you don't really cut, you're not going to change the personality of any of these players. Like Bit, wonderful, Mikaze, obviously not going to be that leader of men. And then it kind of falls on him, and I don't think him really is that either. He's not really...
It's Alexi B's job. As much as Alexi B's job is also to throw great nades and call strats out of the book, like, it's also his job to mentally lead the team. Like, you can't get away from that fact.
But you're not going to get that out of Alexi B. Like, at this point, I think we know that from all of his teams that he's played in. It's like, I don't think you're getting that out of Alexi B. So then the question is like, okay, how do you justify cutting Alexi B for somebody who's going to do that? Because if this is a failure of Alexi B's part, eventually there may come a time when you want to replace him. And it also could be argued Blade's job. It's
IGL coach. If neither one of you is able to rally your team, like, that's...
One of you kind of has to go.
It's an issue. Yeah, someone has to. And if you can't get it out of you two, go sign a player who can. Go sign Rain.
Yeah.
Put Rain in Ima's shoes if you think he could do it. Go get someone and take a risk on it. Someone who could be a leader, a personality in that sense. I mean, Rain's always been a stoic, come what may sort of personality in my eyes, but he's never given up is quite important. Like, that's one thing you can never say he did is, slam his mouse, give up, become the stroppy sort of, star. That was never Rain. So maybe there's that case to be made, but for now we have to lay the blame at the people we can lay it on. And that has to be the leadership of this team. You don't collapse that badly just because your stars miss a few shots. Like, it is also
No.
quite obviously a leadership problem.
Yep.
Right. Up next, I have several segments. I think 2 segments in the show dedicated to this, directly and indirectly. We'll start with the directly. Time's up for Major and Fabre, or Fabre, or whatever. This cannot go on. It just can't. These T-sides are just too damn terrible. I can't. I just can't. And the worst part is, they're still making these kinds of runs. So when you watch them in groups, you know, they'll beat Venom, you know, twice.
Yeah.
Because they're not that bad. All right? They're not so bad that they can't get past Poland's second or first or seventh best team. It doesn't, week by week, it changes. They're not that terrible as a roster, just because they are stacked. Like, there's no two ways about it. They have an insane amount of firepower. But you can't play this kind of style ad nauseum. Keep losing and not get cut. Someone's got to go. And I'm just saying, time's up for both, as in you've run out of slack. One of you has to go, and if it still persists, both of you can get kicked. I don't care. If there was ever a team that wasn't English speaking and could do with going international just to pick up someone, if you really think there's no options in Turkey to replace them at IGL and coach, learn English. I mean, I'll help. 25 quid an hour, I'll teach all of you English. I don't care. Like, just switch language, because this cannot go on. The waste on this roster is criminal. The talent they have on a rifle, especially, in terms of what, you know, the foundation of T-sides right now is just rifle play. The fact that you have this quality lying around and you are able to misuse it so egregiously time and time again cannot persist. It cannot be allowed to persist. So that's one of my biggest takeaways from Thunderpick, because Thunderpick, it's not that big a deal of a tournament in terms of the overall landscape. But you, as Aurora, who've really struggled to take big wins, struggled to take big titles. Only have to beat Furia or a very rusty Mongols to make it happen.
Yep. They keep being bridesmaids in that sense.
And,
where it's like,
and you're not even coming close. But you're not even coming close.
Yeah.
And it's almost all of it is just your T-side is trash. Like, utter trash.
I'll list you the teams very quickly. I'll list you all the teams in the world who had worse T-sides than Aurora this week. It's a very short list, actually. It's Copenhagen Wolves, Nocturnal Pain, Shinden, Huns, Imperial, In Control, and Venom. Venom actually had dog shit T-sides. By around win percent. And that's horrible. They're under 40%. They win under 40% of their T-side rounds. It's insane for Aurora. And that's even more of a shame considering they have really good CT sides. They win their CT sides quite well. So that's very tricky. I always felt like, I feel like this definitely comes down to Measure, and I feel like we've seen for most of this year and for last year even, a lot of their T sides are very one-dimensional. Like very one-dimensional. And I remember, I've talked about this before, but I remember one of the grand finals, I think it was, or semifinals, they played against Vitality. It's just such a, I have a Twitter thread about it because I was tweeting every round where I was like, it's so funny how they were playing Mirage and it's like they rush B, they play like around on mid, they lose all of these, in a row. They take an eco. All right, they take an eco. They take a timeout before the eco, and during the eco, they rush B. What do they do after the eco when they've had a timeout to discuss their tactics? They rush B again, but with guns this time. And it's like, somehow it kept working. They did beat Vitality. I think this was in Blast Bounty, like the first one, where I think they knocked out Vitality in the quarterfinal. Or semifinal. So it did work, but it's like, you cannot, that's not something you can get away with on every map, every series, especially not this deep in an event. And
no, you can't. And here's where, no, okay, I want to say this for later, but I was going to point something out. We'll get to it when we get to the bigger, my small site retake, where I go into this more. But you just watch them, and I broke this down a bit. I did a demo last week when I was still able to speak for more than 20 minutes. I did a demo review of a train game Xantares played for this team, right? It's against FaZe. It's the one map they win in that series, they lose. and he plays phenomenally. Then you watch the way their T-side sets up on Train. The map they pick, by the way, and the T-side they actually do quite well on. The team isn't in any sort of default. It takes almost no map control. They mostly have a group of riflers just lumped together, taking space in one big hit. And that's it. There's no release valve. There's no second idea, second option. There's nothing they can rotate into because they've taken no map control. They don't even have main control most rounds. Like, they don't start with a default main control most rounds. They have very little going on. It was poor. So poor. But despite all that, they have riflers in Xantares, in Wicardia, in Jota, who can just hit heads, like rip head after head after head. And that just fixes it. That solves it. Like, we 3-man walked down ramp into B. Just down that ramp into B. Xantares took a headshot. Wicardia gets deep, takes 2 more. Boom, it's done. Xantares gets picked off, trying to come in that same sort of exec, but this time they're a 3-man group from upper, I think, or he's upper, the 2 are low on the ramp, and they just go in, just on a timing. Very little util, very little exec, no map control taken. He goes down. Oh, look, Wicardia got 2 crazy miracle headshots. Jota clutched a 1v2. We win the round. Like, it's just poor. It's just poor. And it's been the same way for a long time. We've talked about this on the double swing ad nauseum, where we're just talking about you pick Aurora because you know they'll just out firepower bad teams. And you know that they have a puncher's chance against the good teams if their ridiculous gamble in terms of the way they play their T-side works. Like, if their initial first idea is good enough times, they'll win enough T-side gun rounds off the back of their firepower, and they'll be all right. But it's just not good enough to consistently beat top teams. Clearly, that's why they have very few trophies. And it's also clearly not the best way to be using these kinds of riflers. Like, you're telling me you have no plays where Xantares actually lurks, where Wicardia or Jota actually lurk, or try to take second bits of space, try to catch people with their backs turned. There's almost none. It's just, can we hit heads as a group when we exec? I'm tired of it.
Yeah. It's really silly. Like, you cannot be a top 5 contender, as they keep being. Like, Aurora haven't really dropped out of the window where they're at least very close to being in the top 5 window, to being in, it's a team we expect to see in playoffs. It's a team in there. They've been that for the entire year. They've done that. They
have fallen off of it now because, let's be real,
yes, but
outside of 8-team playoffs, they don't make a lot of playoffs. And that's because we've had the rise of Furia, the rise of G2. We already had Falcons, Maus, Vitality, Spirit, Mongols, who were good. So Aurora are like phase NAVI tier. Where it's like, oh, they made playoffs. Oh, it's a shame. There's still some problems though. It's just not quite good enough. If they didn't have the rifles they have, they'd be literally tier 3. Like, if they didn't have that firepower punch from those guys, if this was just replacement level rifling, they'd be like tier 3. They'd be horrifically poor. So I'm waiting for the change to come. I'm not sure what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Probably knowing CS teams. Goodbye, Fabre. Hello, random coach who doesn't speak the language.
Well, who did they have? They've rotated coaches a lot when they were on Eternal Fire. Because they had different guys. It wasn't always Fabre.
As soon as you say his name, I'm going to know who you mean.
Right, let me see. When they started, you're going to know who I mean. When they started, they had Bishop.
That was one.
And then they took in Hardstyle, and then they had
Hardstyle. Remember,
Fabre. I think Bishop one of the two was coaching Space Soldiers.
I think Bishop went back to the academy at some point, didn't he?
Yeah, Hardstyle was the one who was coaching them, these same players in Space Soldiers as well. So that's sort of where that came from, and it was very short-lived. Now he's coaching Fireflux. All of these guys, except like Bishop didn't really do anything after that. But like the Hardstyle, he's still around, and it's so weird. I really don't. I really don't like it.
Look,
I really don't like it.
Great take from chat. Hazeltine, Rals and Berry would literally make this team world champions. Give Rals and Berry, or give, I don't care, Bird from Sky and Berry, this loaded a roster. I'm sorry. you're going to win something. I'm talking about IGLs who cannot shoot to save their life, switch the entire team's language to English. I think they get that much better. Like, it's crazy.
You don't even have a leg to stand on if you say something like, oh, but those IGLs, they could never work. They're not good enough for tier 1. Like, frag-wise, neither is Major. Like, that's the thing. He's 0.77 KD in 2025 in big events. That's like, it's KD levels. It's literally KD levels of fragging. And you're gonna tell me the Bird from Sky is so bad that he doesn't fit on this team? No. Just make it happen. Put in Bird from Sky. Let's do like this is the new meta when you have a national team. You go English speaking when you sign 2 players who speak the same language, so you can translate. You know, you could get Bird from Sky.
You don't even need 2 players because this is English. This is the lingua franca of the 21st century and 20th century, but like of the world. Like just learn English. You all speak it all the time when you don't want to in interviews. Just pay me 25 quid an hour. I'll teach you English. Get in some Danes. I'll even teach you with the silly like Danish accent as well, so it makes it easier.
Yeah, I'll say take Jamin Norbert as well and do a little Furia MIBR kind of move here.
Jamin
a little jiggy.
What?
Yeah, Jamin Norbert. Give me Jamin Norbert. No.
As usual, we're going way off the rails into complete fantasy land.
it's true. They should go English speaking, and at this point, there's very few reasons why they shouldn't. Because they're just unless you can find a gem of an IGL in Turkey. I doubt it because the tier 2 scene is kind of abysmal. Even there, Eternal Fire outsourced parts of their team to Poland. Like it's they play with Calyx and they play with Emor, and now they're starting to phase the Poles out. But it's not like Eternal Fire are hugely successful either. You're not gonna find a good replacement here, so give up on one of them or both. Like it's Aurora as well could absolutely go English speaking with 2 Russians, 100%.
Yeah, the problem is you'd need to make 2 changes. I can't justify the second player in terms of Counter-Strike reasons, but I'd still rather a Danish IGL because, again, we're now getting to the Russian IGL conversation because who can you find?
Boomage. That boom is the major.
Anyway, let's get into our final topic for this event where we're going to be a bit more generalist.
Right.
Who else is concerning? Now, I've got some logos on the lower third, including OG, the Mongols, and 9Z, but of these kinds of teams, of the teams who play this event who weren't successful, is there anyone who particularly concerns you? Like, are you still worried about the Mongols form? Do you think 9Z are destined to fail? Like, what's going on with you in terms of concerns at this event?
Well, we talked about Mongols last week, and we talked about what sort of needs to happen in Thunderpick and where we expect them to be in Thunderpick. I'm very concerned for the Mongols now. I was less concerned before this one, but I thought this was going to be a walk for Mongols, and I thought it sort of almost had to be a Mongols win, or at least showing some good form. And it's to the point where for me, Mongols have dropped out of the championship conversation with this event. Where I'm like, if I'm splitting the top level into tiers, Mongols have fallen down to like the Furia level, the Aurora level. They've fallen into that layer now where, they're playoff contenders and they're going to win. But at this point, they keep losing to other teams who are winning trophies, where it's a bit, like something's wrong here. And for that, I'm concerned because I don't really see a huge turnaround. Like, it's a young team. You could get random development out of any of these players. Just wake up one day and now they're suddenly much better. But and I do think they have a bit of time off as well. I think previously, before this event, they were talking a lot about how they didn't have, like, they had a busy schedule. They didn't have any time to really sit down and practice. I think they have a little bit of a break now before Chengdu. And as well as these events are kind of throwaways anyway. So since you are going, you're probably laser focused on the major. So I do hope they take some time to sort these issues out, because Mongols, I want them to be super good. But I am a little bit concerned about them right now in terms of, just a couple of weeks ago, I would have put them in a top 1 conversation where, like, I would have put them at any given event they show up. Yes, they can beat Vitality and they can beat Spirit and they can do so to win a trophy. Right now, I don't think so. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
Anymore.
In order to address that literal concern you bring up, impromptu sort of power 10. Let's just talk about it in terms of the top teams. That we've broken this down before. Now, currently, I find it hard to put anyone else truly up there alongside Vitality. Like, I wanted it to be Spirit, I wanted it to be Mongols. For me, it's Vitality look great, haven't really been bad this season. They've just taken a step back from the prior season. For me, right now, they're back to being the top contender, the team everyone has to beat again, because everyone else keeps showing weaknesses. Just beneath them, barely probably, I'd have like this trio of Furia, Falcons, and Maus, who I'm like, all three of these teams terrify me. Like in any series, I think they can win it. I think they have potency. The one place I don't consider them to be favourites is if they play Vitality. And I think there's a good chance if they play Spirit in the right moment, that they could lose that. They'll lose that game more times than they will win it. Beneath them is where I have Spirit. It's where I have Mongols. And then I want to put G2 still. I still, despite some disappointments, I still have G2 in there. So those three teams there. After that is where we talk Aurora Navi phase. Like that's that final bracket down there. But that's the point. Mongols don't really have a sniff of winning stuff based on the way they've been playing. Like just simply the way they've been playing. It's just not been good enough. They lose to Furia very consistently. They lost to NAVI at this event, which we just spent a good amount of time ripping into NAVI. Despite that, and despite Mongols crushing them on Nuke as well, Map 3, NAVI takes it 13-10. And we talk about Map 3, it's a classic story of the Mongols' experience. Senzu plays decently, has a few round-winning moments, is a solid star player. Techno, Blitz, Abysmal, that's been a strong feature of the last sort of run, has been Blitz being abysmal as well, like specifically. But then we also didn't get much out of Mazinho, and 910 maintains his 1.00 without ever really affecting the game. Like, didn't have that much impact on the game. 910 as a star still remains obscured. Like, still remains to be seen. So, for me, it is starting to get concerning that the Mongols just can't seem to pull up from this nosedive.
Yeah.
Well, nosedive is harsh. We are talking about a team going from maybe number one in the nebulous sort of post-era to now being maybe 5th, 6th, like taking a bit of a hit. If they start winning stuff again, just because of how fluid everything is, we'll jump them straight back up. But on current form, hard to have any more faith in them than this. It's been a really weak period for them. And it feels like they've regressed a little bit to their pre-elite sort of phase where it's like genuinely hit or miss on a lot of players.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tricky part. And it is the fact that, they survive against 9C twice, but they lose to Fury in groups. They lose to Mongols in playoffs. This is they lose to Navi in playoffs, sorry. These are teams that a couple of weeks ago I would pen Mongols to beat every time when they were up at that, EWC winning level, when they were up there off the back of playing a major final. And this week, or these past few weeks, we haven't really seen that whatsoever. But I hope they can correct it. I'm worried about the fact that they're playing all the rest of the events. They could probably have done pretty well to decline at least one of them, Chengdu or Budapest. But hey, whatever.
Yeah, they could have, but they're going all in. And good for them.
Very much so, yeah.
Look, in terms of other teams in this event, maybe with some concerns. OG, last place. Imperial, last place. Very different teams in terms of how we think about them. In terms of, OG, it's like this coalition of rifle firepower, including their AWPer. And then Imperial, it's a lot of very mid players and an AWPer we all like. Do you have, like, major concerns for either one of these? I mean, OG are at the major, correct? Am I going crazy? Are they at the major?
No, they missed.
Oh, neither one of these teams at the major then. So, in terms of
Imperial are at the major.
Yes, I'm thinking of 9Z, my god. All over the shop this morning. Apologies. But yes, Imperial are at the major. Should we be worried about how they're going to look going into that opening Swiss?
Oh, yeah. I'm kind of mixed on them because they do still take a map off of Navi. Like, that's a solid map win, 13-10. At the start, they had to win Mirage as well. Like we said, strong Navi map, but they take it.
Yeah.
Then, of course, they lose that map. It's nice that they put up a fight. 13-8 on Dust 2 is close enough. And then losing to Venom, who we did just point out have a sub 30% T-side win rate, is bad, outright horrible even. But fucking yeah, no, that I am concerned about, to be honest. So then I don't really know where to put them at the moment. OG is one like it was always going to come down to the 9Z game. I didn't see OG beating neither Furia nor Mongols outright. So it was always going to come down to a 9Z game. It's a close game, and I think they put up a decent level. Like Adam B showed what he can do. Spook, not really all there, and then the rest of the team was kind of mid. So for them, I can't really say that I expected much more other than beating 9Z, and beating 9Z is not a huge bar either. So no. I'm not overly concerned. No, this is not the event that, unless they were like in playoffs. This was never going to be an event which made or break OG, made or broke OG. So for that, I'm not hugely concerned. Imperial is more like that's a big loss because Imperial very well as well could have just firepowered their way past Aurora if they were in that decider match. How? I think that's also shown by the fact that fucking Venom took a map over them. It's a 2-1 against Venom.
No, Imperial how would Imperial firepower their way through anyone?
Or tactics, or tactics.
Have you seen the roster? Like, who out of Skulls,
are you telling
Vinny,
me
Cello, and No Way is going to be popping off on the rifles to carry you through a series against Santares, Wicardio, Jota? Like, who is it on that team?
Are you saying Try cannot beat absolutely anybody single-handedly?
I am saying that, yes. Because as much as I love Try, he can try hard. He can't try that hard. Like, that's crazy.
I don't know. Okay, like, they could have made their way past Aurora. I think that's would have been entirely possible. Because again, Venom played it close, and we have just talked about how Aurora can just fall apart when you're on these T sides, and that's what loses you games sometimes. We don't see a huge amount of Aurora upsets, but I do think one is going to happen. Like I do think one is definitely in the wings, and could have been that Imperial game. So for them, I had them at a more realistic chance of making it out here than OG, but yeah, it's still not overly concerning. Two very top-heavy groups. It's not like we had a top 20 team below these. We had these top teams. We had Furia, Mongols, Navi, and Aurora, clear top 10 teams. Then we're sort of taking several steps down on the ranking, where we have OG and 9Z missing the major. We have Venom fucking nowhere, and Imperial, who are pretty mid. Like, they are pretty far out from being a good Brazilian team. There's a bunch of teams ahead of them. So it's hard to be overly concerned for Imperial, knowing that to impress here, they had to beat Navi or Aurora. But it's like, yeah. Props to Venom.
Yeah, Venom's results, as per usual, slightly confusing, but they get it done. I mean, I've done a breakdown on Flay. I've watched his POVs. I don't get it. Like, he comes out here with a 136. I'm like, against Imperial. I'm like, this guy? I'm gonna be honest.
Yep.
Like, the POVs were shaky. The demos were really not looking good. So I don't really get his part of this. I've seen a lot of people react to this like Flay is the next great thing. I don't think he is. Although, to be honest, the more we watch this Imperial lineup play these sorts of lands, the more you have to wonder what the hell's going on with Try, because he's so inconsistent in land play.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And specifically, like, yes, I've seen in chat, international land play, he struggles. He's had good international lands. The problem is he has just as many dreadful international lands. And this is one of them, where it's like, not just, his KD is good or bad, but like, he just didn't have a lot of impact on anything. Like, anything. Like, you just farmed empty kills, and you're like, I needed to see a lot more from him. I needed to see him take one of these games by the scruff of the neck, and a 114 against Venom is not what I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Like, I needed to see your 143 from Fergie Rush level Try. Like, I need to see you truly finding a way to affect the game. Just didn't get it. So, yeah. There are some concerning teams here. But we do have another big event to recap from this weekend. I mean, it's literally not a big event, but it's still a pretty big event. So we're going to start off with our champions of CS Asia Championships. Legacy, with Latto leading Legacy to a trophy lift. Pretty great. I mean, lead in the fragging sense, not in the IGLing sense, for Lux is the caller on that roster. But an impressive win for them, nonetheless. We talked about this, we DM'd each other about like the playoff bracket, who's going to win, who's got best chances. It started off with you being confused about the 3D Max favorites thing, like questioning it. As expected, as I pointed out, they are the most consistent of those teams. They're the most likely to win an event of those teams. I did casually say that Legacy were my second pick, like second favorite. You know what I mean? And they do go on and win it, and that's great. But everyone else, pretty much performed in line with my expectations when it came to the actual playoffs. Legacy, I saw them beating Foot. I thought Heroic, Paper Tiger would be a bit exaggerated, but just didn't believe in the roster. Like, Hades had to carry them through groups. Is that going to continue? We'll have to talk about that in a bit. We have a topic dedicated to Heroic because we have our little favorites on this show. Just be glad there's no little topic dedicated to Gamer Legion as well. Then they take the grand final, 3-2 over 3D Max. A bit of a burner, like a bit of a barn burner. Not quite an elite, legendary, all-time great best of 5, but a pretty good best of 5 between the two of them. And yeah, Latto, never being stupidly hard carrying, like in this playoff run. Like, not crazy numbers, not topping the charts every time, but just consistent. Start production. And that gets him the MVP. 2 Brazilian MVPs this weekend. And Legacy, I think, well-deserved winners of this event. You know, after going through a decent challenge to get to that win, playing a great game against 3D Max, who didn't capitulate, didn't fold, didn't show up playing terrible CS. I think it's a pretty impressive win and a feather in Lux's cap, because ever since he's joined this roster as the IGL, they've been going from strength to strength, and this is, the cherry on top of a great Counter-Strike Sunday.
Yeah, Lux has really unlocked this team. Like, since he joined, it's a whole different team, and I don't even think that's that unexpected. Lux was really good. I believe he was on. Where was he before? Was he on Pain?
He was on Pain. He wasn't calling, but he was on Pain.
He was on Pain. No, but he's going to bring a bit of that. He's going to bring a bit of that. And Pain were very solid when he was on there. Obviously, again, not calling, but yeah. And I think I said this when they signed him. I felt like this was the sort of thing that could take Legacy from outside the scope of being a good team to being really solid. And it's just another step forward. I did also say when we were talking about this, really open bracket. I could genuinely have seen any of these teams winning it, and it wouldn't have been outrageous. Like, any of these teams in this bracket definitely had something going for them, which made me feel like, okay, you wouldn't be an undeserving champion if you somehow made your way to the win here. But I do think 3D Max and Legacy, especially, like, they were probably the best teams to make it here. Them or Liquid would probably have been the predicted final. So, yeah. That's solid. I feel like 3D Max did well up until the final, not to lose to anybody outrageous. But they do also. I do feel like they also struggle a little bit. Like, a Fnatic win in that quarterfinal, I would absolutely not have put it past them. So, yeah. Then I think everything's cool. This is all of the games are 3 mappers, and then the best of final is a 5 mapper. I think that just kind of shows how even everything was here, where every single team is 1 map away from advancing and just about missing out. So yeah, but Legacy make work. Deserved champions. Latto sort of epitomizes how I feel about the team as a whole, because it's 5 solid players. There's no clear star. Like, there's layers to it. I think Dumao and Latto obviously stick out, and Sadzin is maybe below par for what we think about where an opera should be, but it's not like it's solid across the board, and Latto is more just like the bigger output in general, which gives him the MVP. But I could have seen it gone a little here and there, not within Legacy, but like if we had a different champion, it's not like Latto ever would have taken a second place MVP. It's not like he hard carried the team. So yeah.
Yeah, no, they are a
solid win.
defined as a solid 5. Like, that's just kind of how we talk about them all the time.
Yeah.
Could we have... We always hope to see more from Sadzin. He has good series. He has had good events. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a bad player. So it's always, it's a bit of a letdown that he's not particularly impressive here. Like, basically just floats along to a victory. But it's a roster that wins a bit more by committee. Nissim playing out of his mind from pretty tough roles, I think, is a very important part of this run. Definitely EVP. Nissim. You know what I mean? Like, he was actually very valuable for this roster. He impressed me. There's always been talk about him. I always get told he's very good, but Brazilian CS is my
mostly by me.
Spot.
Yeah.
Like, my voluntary blind spot. Not mostly by you. We don't talk Nissim at all.
Nissim is the guy I've been on the Nissim train since 2020, because I remember when he was on Kase and he was the only good player on the team, but he was playing in Europe and he was so good. And then he joined Pain, and he kept being so good. And then he couldn't stay on Pain because I think there was some contract bullshit with Sharks or something. And they wanted to keep him, but they couldn't, so he had to leave. And now he's back on Legacy, and he is still so good. And just, he is a really good player. I love that guy.
But yeah, a lot of hype for him. This was really a great manifestation of it, because he's not statistically very impressive. He doesn't play the best roles. There's a reason for it. He is the supportive element of the side. The fact that he's able to actually deliver massively at this LAN is very impressive and was necessary, really, for them to make it through. I mean, he absolutely crushed the final. He's the highest ranked player in the final. You could make a case for him to have the MVP, borderline, just because he played so well in that game.
Yeah, it's not far off.
Fantastic run from the team, but Nissim a big part of it. Another key storyline that we kind of have to talk about, you know what I mean? Like, we just kind of have to address them, because we always do. 3D Max, they are a chaotic mess. Like, in terms of who they can beat, who they can lose to. And this is sort of a question. Do you love them or hate them? Like, do you love 3D Max's effect, like, impact on the scene, the way they play? Or are you just, like, tired of their shit and wish they would be, choose. Are you good or are you bad? Like, please make your minds up and stick with it.
I think it's a shame they don't develop much more. They've been at the same level for a very long time, and that's including now 3 months with a new coach, which I think they did specifically because they felt that they were sort of in a rut where they started being good around the time of the Shanghai Major. And then I think they said in an interview after Austin where it's like, based on where we were at Shanghai, we feel like we've regressed. So I think that's sort of why they made the change. But I do like them. I think they play good Counter-Strike. I like them with Maka calling. I like them with Gravity calling. I like I like the team overall. Then they're very much all over the shop. I would have liked it even more if they managed to really squeeze everything out of the team. If they managed to be a bit more effective, not take these huge losses that really do affect them. And means that they can just pretty much lose to anybody. I wish they wouldn't do that, but it's overall I do like them. I do like watching them play, and I do like what they're doing. I hope they can take a little bit of a further step, because then we're sort of like, we're not very far off. 3D Max, they don't really make playoffs that often, unfortunately, but I always feel like they could at pretty much every single big event that they show up. It's like they are top 10 on both rankings for a reason, where it's like, you could, with probably just one more win, or rather one fewer loss, you could probably step up into a playoff spot at a bunch of these events. And we're not too far off talking about them in that phase conversation. If
I talked about that tier where it's like Aurora, Navi, FaZe, I had to literally jump a team in the ranking, because yes, FaZe are 11th, 3D Max are 10th, and that's because 3D Max, for example, at Pro League, beat FaZe, beat Navi, beat G2. Like, since Gravity took over IGL as well, this is becoming almost more and more of a thing. The problem is that they have events like Fisher Playground. That's the other aspect to them, where the Fisher Playground, they beat Mongols. They lose to FaZe. They lose to Gamer Legion. They lose to Virtus Pro. And they go home 1-3. You know what I mean? Like, there's an aspect to them where it's just Their floor is non-existent. Their ceiling is shockingly high given who's on this roster. Like, given the firepower on this team, which is, if your highest firepower guy in terms of statistics is body, you should be terrible. You should be like 25th on a good week. You know what I mean? Like, you've got a fluky string of results in online play. You should be 25th. Instead, they're beating legit top 10 teams consistently. They're losing to legit 35th best teams in the world. And it's a nightmare to figure out. And I'm going to be honest, I absolutely love it. Because the style they play, which, just to address chat, is not W key. Let's not be completely brain dead. It is highly committal. They are very gambly. Like, this was more true during Macca's period, because I think Gravity does have a little more, a little bit of a soft touch in terms of how the team plays. So it's just surprising given his playstyle as an individual, but it used to be, and still to a certain extent is, not as much, very much, we have this read, we're going to go for this setup, we're going to heavily play into it, so we're going to either go very aggressive somewhere, we're going to play a stack here, we're going to try and go all in on this idea, and then boom or bust. Because let's be honest, when Lucky is on your team, like if Lucky is your twists, you can't rely on headshots. You need him to be getting real easy kills. But that exec, that set piece, that stack to actually work. You can't rely on him just being better than everyone else, mechanically. So you do have to just be in the right spots, be in the right places. And I love the way they all commit to it. Like, there's no hesitation. There's very little bickering, infighting on this team. It's, we trust the leader. Even now that it's switched to Gravity, we trust our leader. We're behind him 100%. Now, we have a bunch of voices who can give ideas. Lucky's a very experienced player. Body has tenure, has been an IGL. Maka literally was calling this team. Like, there's 3 other guys on this team who can give suggestions to Gravity, but it still seems like we're all on the same page. We're doing the same thing. Come hell or high water, we're going to try this. We're going to do it to our best, possible level. And if that's good enough to win the round, fantastic. I mean, it helps that Gravity's taken a step up in fragging as well since becoming IGL. I'm sure that's contributed nicely to their wins, but I'm a lover of 3D Max. I just wish we could find something of a flaw. Just something.
It is interesting to think about who is performing on this team, because 4 years ago, pandemic CS, when we were all sitting at home watching online games because it was the only thing that existed, these same players were losing in the 9-5 Cup, Spring Sweet Spring, and the European Development Championship. These same players were losing in those events and were kind of bad, and two of them were G2 rejects, and Maka was the guy who almost signed for Vitality. That's what we're talking about. And now 4 years, soon to be 5 years down the line, they are actually a solid top 10 team, a very solid top 10 team. So, and they're performing at that level, which is, I think it sort of comes from the fact that as well, that the fact that they have that sort of trust in each other, trust in the leaders, is that this core sort of goes back to that time as well, where we had that double pony team, which is basically where Exorcise came from, but it's also where these sort of players first came together. And that's, I think the fact that they have really, there's been changes. I don't think you can pick out a core 3 which have been put together constantly, but the fact that this team in a way existed for 4 or 5 years now, I think that does contribute to that, where it's we've found our thing and we've carried on with it for 4 years, and we want to keep carrying on with it, and it's finally paying dividends, so that's nice.
Yeah, it really is. Legit top 10 side isn't a ridiculous statement to make for this team. Just a shame we need someone to not be, because there are only 11 teams we'd say that to. So no, shame they lose the final. Just 3D maxing in that sense, because you'd already taken down Fnatic and Liquid. You've taken down Elige, Nerds, all these guys, and then Legacy show up, you're like, couldn't quite get it done, lads.
Nope, sorry.
It makes sense. It's
we absolutely showed up, blame FNAF, Elige, and Nerds, but
Latto was one step too far.
A step too much, yeah.
It's the 3D Max way, and I kind of love it. But okay, our final topic that we've hard planned for this segment, or for this event, it's of course about one of our favorite teams to talk about. What do we make of Heroic? What do we make of this bloody team?
What can you really say? What can you say after this event, though, when they are playing with Hades and everything?
What I can say is this. It's the AWPer. That's a very isolated part of your game plan. In theory, like, you can just let your AWPer go nuts. You figure out your setups between you. You adjust based on what he wants to go for his pick. Like, you're like, oh, he wants to take this pick. Okay, we'll run a player, no player on short this round, or we'll play our anchor basically near short, and we'll play 3-man on A, and we'll, look for space here. Well, you can do a number of things just off your AWPer. Like, you just let him do his thing, find his picks, and you can find your sort of counterplay. You can find your space. You can take certain positions. You can do a lot of things off the back of just setting up your AWPer to do one thing. So it's not like it's a crazy diversion from your playbook to have a different AWPer in. Like, let's not give Hades too much credit in that sense. Like, he's not taking over the reins. Like, he's not coming in to be the AWP IGL. So the fact that when it's working for Hades, it's working for the team, isn't necessarily that big of a W. Like, I don't think for Heroic. Like, the fact that Hades is putting up like 130s and you're able to win games, it's like, oh, good job. But then as soon as you get to the playoffs, everything completely falls apart. Like, you play Legacy in a best 3, you win Dust 2 13-2. It looks like an absolute anomaly now, because then you lose the next 2 maps and you don't look that good in either one. Which makes you wonder what the hell happened on Dust 2, Maybe Linus getting a 2.0 rating was the first hint that it might have been a fluke. So I'm pretty much in agreement with the poll I ran for viewers whilst the show was running up to this point, that I'm kind of done with Heroic.
Yep.
Like, I don't really believe in what's going on right now. And even when we come back to their full roster, which I believe they'll go back to having Alcaran as the AWPer, right? This is just temporary Hades. It's not like they've dropped Alcaran, needed a temporary Hades replacement. Alcaran, I believe, had visa issues, which I think
it was visa and a
suspect.
Somebody, I didn't read into it, but I think somebody said that there's usually no issues for Kazakhstani players to get into China. So, or Kazakhstani
Kazakh
people,
should be able to get into China almost visa free. Like, it's that easy. Like, it's it might be visa on arrival levels.
Yeah, it could be also where you're traveling from does have some impact as well. Maybe there was a tricky thing where, like, they're going from Europe to China, but they're going to China and later anyway. They're going to Chengdu, I think. I think they're in both. I think they're both in Chengdu and Budapest. Can double check that. Or Bucharest rather. They're in Bucharest, and they are. They're making the. Okay, no, actually, I was about to say they're making the 1-day trip, but that implies they're going to be in the final. But yeah, they're making it to China anyway, so maybe Alcaran doesn't show up there either. Fucking awkward as hell. Look, I don't think it's a big Hades difference. He definitely had much more output than Alcaran usually does, but it's not. I don't feel like there's a big playstyle difference there. And my read for Heroic recently is that they are very good at converting their advantages. They're just really bad at finding them in the first place. Like, they don't get a lot of opening wins, like opening frags. They don't get a lot of this, but they have a really good 5-on-4 conversion rate, especially T-side. Like, out of the playoff teams at this event, they had the best 5-on-4 conversion on T-side. Really solid. Bit of a feather in Linus's hat. It's just the fact that they also had sub 40% opening KPR on T-side. So you don't get a lot of openings.
Just in the playoffs.
But when you
entire event, you said.
that was event overall, but out of the teams that were in the playoffs so like they were beaten on 5-on-4 by MIBR and Bait, but they both went in a group, so I kind of felt like okay. It's like, and I think that sort of comes from that you don't really have anybody who is able to consistently win fights because you haven't really replaced Tenir. Still, you haven't really replaced Tenir whatsoever. And I'm not saying that Tenir was like massively cracking open rounds with opening frag. It's just the fact that he could consistently win them when he took them because he's just that good. And you don't really have that. You don't really have anybody to confidently win a fight at the moment. That I think is really tricky. Unfortunately, because Nilo was probably supposed to be that. He hasn't really been that. You could have an AWPer who's doing it. Alcaran's not really doing it. I don't think Hades was doing it massively here either, but like he's Alcaran's not really doing it. You don't really have that to the same degree. So that's something which you need to really fix moving forward. But yeah, that's I do think they're kind of doomed. They're missing the major. They're playing 2 more events. It's going to be Bucharest and Chengdu, and that's about it. After that, I think we are going to see roster changes. They are not playing the Swedish Cup, even though they could. They did say no because they come home from Chengdu like the day before the event starts. So they declined our invite, which is a shame. But yeah, it's it is kind of over. Like for this exact Heroic 5, it is kind of over. And I don't even think it was Hades that killed it. It's not like
No.
I think a lot of people were talking early on in the group stage. I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, Hades is so good, really showing up Alcaran and really like yada yada yada." It's not even really that. It's just that this team it's a bit of a dead end at the moment. You need to somehow find a really good level out of Nilo and xCloud, or you need to make roster changes. Like, so it's going to be one of those two, and it looks like roster changes.
Here's the question though: what changes are you making? Like to Heroic, you're looking at this roster. Now, I've watched them play. I'm not a big Alcaran guy. I made that clear in my Prospects episode. I'm not a big Alcaran guy. I like Nilo in theory. I liked him prior to being on Heroic, prior to his little sabbatical or whatever it was. But since he's returned, he's just not been good enough. Like, he's just not been good enough. xCloud's had a pop-off series here or there, but he's yet to return to his form prior to the fuckery that got him, benched and then now returned.
Yeah. Doomed from the start because of that, I think. Like, you already cut him once. What's going to be better? Like.
So yeah, that's my question to you then. What are you doing on this team? Are we going for the Swedish idea? Are we cutting?
Yes.
Are we bringing Fuzi Adam B, Fuzi Susp? Is that still what we're talking about here?
I still want that. I still want Fuzi Susp. And like 2 players who are unhappy in wildcard, who are probably moving over the winter anyway, if I'm honest. I feel like they're gonna be. I think you need a new Opera. I think you need you need to replace xCloud. Nilo. It's like, yeah, you could replace him as well, outright. You could probably replace Linus as well. Like, I'll just say, Linus has, I think he's good tactically, but he does have a very low floor in terms of his individual play. And like, it's tricky. You could even replace Youngstar, because Youngstar, as much as I like him and as much as I like watching him, like I tested, I feel like yes, he's playing really well. Any stat I check, he is legitimately quite bad this season. It's unfortunately the truth. But it's like, not replacing any one of those is not going to fix the team. You really can't replace more than 2 anyway. And if I had to pick 2, it would be Alcaran and xCloud, because I think you can still get a good level out of Nilo if you give him the right environment, if you give him, the right teams or players around him. I think Susp is exactly that environment, and I think Fuzi is exactly the kind of player who could really, really change the team and really change the team into a completely different side, just by being significantly better on the op. So, and I don't I don't even strictly think that's that much bias, because I can't think of a theoretically available opper who could do that to the same degree right now. Like, Dagster maybe could on paper, but it's like, even then I think Fuzi's better than Dagster, and that's not even a hot take. So like, I don't. And then yeah, xCloud's underrated. I think xCloud is underrated. He's just ridiculously inconsistent, and we don't really need that. So who can we get in there who's going to perform a pretty good job more consistently? Susp has been excellent. So that's my feeling. I still feel like Fuzi is a must-have. Then like xCloud Susp, yeah, you could kind of go either way, but it's you could even keep xCloud. You could replace somebody else instead. You could get a different IGL in here, maybe somebody who works better with Tobis. You could get a different, Youngstar, try to raise the floor a bit by having somebody more stable there. But it's gonna be so tricky, I feel like. The racism buff is also there if you do that. Like, yeah, the chemistry of having 5 Swedish players, that's going to be huge, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for Heroic. Sorry, yeah.
I do think that's the better option. Like, rather than trying to mix and match different things, yeah, getting in a Swedish AWPer, a Swedish rifler, who are both playing pretty well right now. Both historically, well, not Fuzi so much. Fuzi's just a bit crazy, but Susp historically very solid, very stoic as well in a variety of different, pretty weak roles. I do think this is a better way for the team to progress and go forward than just trying to make random shit happen. Like, changing the IGL now would be rough, even if you're getting in a quality IGL. It'd just be a bit of a weird change for me. I'd be happier making those kinds of moves. Getting Nilo paired up with players he's played with before as well would be a big help, I think, just to get his comfort up, get him feeling, more at home on the roster. And maybe win some games, because currently it's not been very good.
Not at all. No.
Right.
Not at all.
We have had a significant weekend. Let's put it that way. In terms of Brazil. Is this the Brazilian Renaissance? But also, was this kind of drought even necessary? Because I originally put this into the notes as like, yes, Brazil are back. But like, is this still kind of a bit of a bad vibes? Because I'm like, this was always there. The talent never went missing. The players were always there. Is this weekend like an indictment on the Brazilian scene for their own inability to put players in the right places? Because all it took, look, Legacy, they got Lux in, moved him to IGL because they couldn't get a good IGL, and eventually won a trophy because they had incredibly talented players this entire time. Big Uzera has been leading Pain forever. Can't get the right players in from Brazil. Furia have struggled to get the right players in. And I'm sure if they could have, they would have gotten in a Big Uzera. They would have tried to make moves for players of the quality of Nissim, Dumao, Latto at various points. Like, they would have made these kinds of changes if it were possible. And sure, they've ended up finding success with imports. But I feel like that's more of, again, just the Brazilian scene being the Brazilian scene. Like, sure, this is great that we've had a pair of Brazilian MVPs this weekend. And in terms of that, like, we could be seeing Brazil return to this sort of pedestal they used to be on. Back when LGSK were winning majors, we had multiple Brazilian rosters competing at big events, finishing runners-up or winning little, like, DreamHack events. Like, we had a legit Brazilian scene to be afraid of, really. That all disappeared. How much does that kind of dampen your hype for this weekend?
Not a lot, to be honest, but it's true that like this has been here all the time, where it's like you say, we had these talents. You didn't even touch on it, but we had MIBR as well, and we like the fact that MIBR have been wasting the talents of several players, but especially one, for so long. And it is sort of like, I think that inability to create these good rosters does stem from the way the scene works. Talk about these big buyouts. We talk about Try as well, not Brazilian, but Imperial. And how like Try is way too good for Imperial, but nobody can sign him because he costs $1 gazillion. Insani just eternally let down by MIBR up until now, apparently. And it's like, the fact that it's been so close with so many talented players for so long, and I think it is just like it's logistics, it's administrative that it's been difficult to make the moves you need to make in Brazil. And this has also, like, when we see rumors about this stuff, when we see rumors about like, this team wants to sign Lukowski, and then nothing happens for 3 months, and then they sign him for a negotiated fee of $500,000 for a player who has never played at a big LAN. It's like, wow, okay. So that's how Brazil works. And I think this is sort of a symptom of that. But it's nice that we're sort of out of it. It's nice that we've had this little bit of a little bit of a click where stuff is starting to work, and it's minor changes which does it. And probably slightly premeditated as well by the fact that Furia went international. Like, Furia obviously went got quite a bit better with Yakinder and Molodoi. MIBR got quite a bit better with Kickert and Klim, which is a move which is clearly inspired by the big brothers at Furia. And I think maybe realizing that, like, fuck, the way the Brazilian works is absolutely to our detriment. There's no point that we keep looking towards South America for talent when we have international talent that could do just as well. So taking that step, I think it helps Brazil overall, because now Legacy at this point are the best full Brazilian team. They are the best full South American team at the moment. And I think maybe just the fact that, like, you know, maybe they're not looking, maybe the players are no longer looking upwards towards a step upwards anymore, and as much, is maybe something which is going to help them, and it probably helps the whole scene. So yeah, it's like, I think it's absolutely a symptom of how the scene works, and it's nice that it's back. It doesn't dampen my hype. I'm still really hyped about it, but it's fun, and it's cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Making waves.
Well, me, it's frustrating, and it honestly just highlights the other players, the other teams, and what's been going wrong with them. You're telling me I could never have, all this time, Pain have had the best IGL. They've had some really strong talents in other places. Could never have Insani on that team. Stupid. Genuinely stupid.
It is stupid. It is really stupid.
And there's so many examples in that sort of ilk, like that sort of, to that sort of effect, really. Like this player could have been here. This IGL could have been so much better here. We could have done with this AWPer on this team, etc., etc. Instead, just reluctantly mid forever. Despite all of that. So,
until now,
I feel like that had to be addressed. That's a question I had to ask. That's something I had to put out there. Like, should they be okay with this? Like the fact that it took 7 years to have a Brazilian MVP at a real event, like a real LAN. It's kind of dumb. Like, that's so dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
pretty
it's more
dumb,
depressing than anything else.
Well, no, I feel like it's relief, because I feel like we're getting out of that at this point, because we're getting Furia are out of that ecosystem.
I don't see it. I don't see how, because Furia are out of the ecosystem by just not being in Brazil anymore. That's not productive. Legacy,
no, of course not.
Eventually,
Of course not,
by hook or by crook, managed to win one event. They don't even have all the talents in Brazil. Like, we're still stuck looking at Pain, thinking, oh, which random South American are they going to cycle in next? We're looking at, are they going to sign Lucan? You know what I mean? Like, is that going to be their next port of call? Because they can't be bothered to get Insani, because it will cost $60 billion. Like, MIBR went and got a Russian and a Kazakh, or two Russians, sorry. A Russian and a Kazakh, yeah, there we go. They've just had to flee their own ecosystem to make functioning teams over and over again. It's ridiculous.
I mean, look, that sucks, but it's also, I feel like that might be a pattern emerging. And if that pattern starts trickling down as well, the next time Pain or Legacy make a roster move, or Imperial make a roster move, maybe they're quicker, because the fact of the matter is that people were still buying players for these ridiculous prices. Lukowski's one of them. Lukowski's one of the guys who really did. Like, he's made several transfers worth several $100,000 for really no reason. Like, he's mechanically gifted, but the hype, the hype wasn't worth $500,000 each time he made a move, and he's made 3 of those, I think. When he moved to Fluxo, he moved to from Fluxo to MIBR, and then MIBR back to Fluxo. Like, people were still paying for this. Furia have now stopped paying for this, because I think they would have paid similarly when they signed players like Skulls and Cello. I think they would have paid pretty hefty for that. It's not free transfers. So Furia have now moved out of there. MIBR have, as much as they're keeping Insani in contract jail as they should. Well, they shouldn't, but they should, because they have him, and it makes business sense. As much as they're doing that, they didn't want to look towards Brazilian talent. That was way too expensive for them to afford. So they looked to Russia. And hopefully the next time Pain or Legacy make a move, they also look elsewhere. And as that sort of, if nobody's paying for these insane buyout players, that's going to go away. And we're not going to see that in the contract. So hopefully it's a step in the right direction, more so than it is. It's been depressing for years. Like, for years it's been, what the fuck are you guys doing? It's just an eternal cloud over the head of Insani and Try, that they just couldn't make it anywhere worthwhile because of what they were costing. But perhaps this is a step in the right direction, and future South American talents will have an easier time moving, hopefully. But yeah, it's maybe the return of Brazil, like with Legacy finding this sort of success as one part of this two-part successful week for them. Maybe that's in spite of their ecosystem rather than because of the way it works.
All right, into the small site retakes. And I've got one this week. I usually don't, because I usually just stick little events in, but events have been getting kind of big, so it's been fewer and fewer little events. So I've had an interesting little topic come to mind. T-side frauds. We're going to expose some fraudulent T-sides today. Because, Quack, you sent me this morning your little MVP events sort of filter thing that you make every year, pretty much, to try and gauge. Yep. We usually use it to try and gauge how HLTV will order their top 20. That's usually the usefulness.
They give MVPs. Usually, they only consider events which give out MVPs and EVPs, but not all events which give out MVPs and EVPs are big events. And also, if you just sort by big events or if you just sort by LAN, you usually don't get the play-ins. And a lot of these play-ins are super important. Like we're talking stage 1 and 2 of the major don't get included in the big events list.
Yeah.
So I like to put this context together. And a lot of the time, like this time around this time of year, we already know all the events that are going to be played. So you can just add them ahead of time. And this link is going to work for the rest of the year. I'll put it in the chat. Actually, no, I'll put it in the Discord. If you want to look at it yourself, I'll put it in the Discord because I think YouTube censors links.
It does when somebody who's not me sends it. But yeah, stick it in the Discord and I will send the invite link in chat. Hopefully it works. It always dies, doesn't work, whatever. If it doesn't work, fuck it. At this point, it's Discord's fault. They don't want me to have a Discord. But yes, the fraud T-sites. So I looked at the FTU, you know, the little stats sheets that teams get put into by HLTV. I look on the T side, and I filtered by round win percentage, because I like looking at round win percentage. It's a very good stat on the macro side. For one event, it can be a bit nonsensical, but across the year, lets you know who's really the dominant side. And I see Spirit, T-side win rate, 56.2%. This is your fraud IGL that needs to be replaced every week. This. I also see other teams up there. You know, they're above Vitality, just about. Era Vitality, just beneath Fraud Chopper. And you go down the list, Aurora have 47.2%, which is bad, but it's not the calamity we've made it out to be in a lot of ways.
Can I just say, in this context link, the Eternal Fire, 55%, is that same Aurora roster. So something has changed.
Something's gotten worse for one, but that's also, that's there. But across this thing, you see a lot of teams. You know, the top teams generally have good T-sides. The not-so-top teams have terrible T-sides. It makes some sense. So then I did what every smart thinker, big brain, should do. And I clicked ranking filter. Because I want to judge a top 10 team. And I want to judge them against other top 10 teams. So this ranking filter will be very useful. I stick it on. Spirit's T-side drops 5 percentage points to 51%. Now, it's still third best, pretty much. It's still third best of the top teams. But Eternal Fires, importantly, drops from 55 to 51. So in that period, they were worse. And Aurora's goes from 45 to 41. Yeah. It gets even worse.
Yeah, and noteworthy with the Spirit drop is Vitality stays about the same.
Yeah, Vitality, 54.8. Like, it barely shits. They aren't farming shit teams. There is a certain aspect to Spirit's T-sides, which is inflated by their games against teams outside of the top 10. It just is a fact. Like, as soon as you put that filter on, they plummet from, like, the best in the world to third, but within touching distance of everyone else. Like, they're just a team on T-side at that point. And when you consider that Spirit don't get that many opening kills on their T-side. Actually, opening kills, they get a sub 50, but they're the top in the world. They don't get that many multi-kills. Like, they're not especially firepower dominant. But if you look at the numbers in terms of their individuals, it's all donk. It's just donk. It starts to, like, paint the picture of what this team has been this year. And unfortunately, despite what Halley might claim, even some people, even though some people may not know what they're talking about and clearly don't know Counter-Strike, it is kind of just donk. It's all donk, all the way through. This team's T-side is so donk heavy. It's actually incredible. He takes 31.5% of their opening attempts against the top 10. He wins those at a 57% rate, which is incredible. And beyond that, the team looks dreadful. Like on T-sides, nothing else works. Like with any consistency. Shearer's a 110 rating. Everyone else is 1.0 flat or worse, including Tanir. It's just an unimpressive offense that is absolutely dragged over the finish line by one little lunatic and his AK-47.
They have horrible 5-on-4 conversion at the between top 10 teams. It's 72.5%, which is the lower third of all the top 10
above
teams for this
G2,
entire
Liquid,
year.
and Aurora.
Yeah. Well, you can throw 3D Max Astralis in there as well if you put the map filter down low enough. But they're below Pain, who are fucking dog shit in top 10 to top 10 play. They are horrible. Weird. And it is all donk. It ends up being all donk. I think, talking of fraudulent T-sides, Mouse have had a horrible time on T-sides all year.
But we understand that. We know why. We know they have, especially in the top 10 context, we know they don't have the firepower to match up with any of the teams. Like, they don't have a Donk. They don't have a Zywoo. They don't even have a Xantares. I like Xertion. I think he's good. I don't think he's good enough to carry a T-side against another elite team. And that's painfully obvious. A team like Spirit, a team like Aurora have the individuals to get through a T-side easily. As we see, when you just ask them to do it against legitimate opposition, they fall off a cliff. They're just embarrassingly weak.
Yeah. Very weak. Fix your T-sides, Counter-Strike world.
That's something that just popped out to me. That's like, I could probably have a little topic about this, because I've been one of the few chopper defenders. As in, I've mostly defended from a point of, like, my last stand is always, but who are you going to replace him with? And just, like, poke with my spear, like, fuck, find someone to replace him with. And it's always Boomich. I'm like, have you watched Bet Boom? Like, is there actually, like, a part of you that has seen any amount of Bet Boom gameplay? Like, they're not some fantastic team. The only reason he has a job is because there's no one making the case. There's no one in the scene who's just that much better or outperforming expectation in terms of their roster. Lears this. Have you watched an Amiga game? They've been going through a horrible period post-Sway.
Yeah.
Like, they won the Nodwin Clutch series, and that's the most impressive thing they've done in a long time. They've taken losses to literally everyone since then, since Sway left. Like, this has been just a fall-off. An insane fall-off.
Yeah. Really bad. Phew.
So yeah, that was my little small site. Not a very long one. But we're going to get into one of our classic segments now. Quacker, you love cock. Who is your cock of the week?
My cock of the week is the Latvian HLTV user Render, who, honestly, look, today I had to dig to find a cock of the week this week, because I didn't just want to do Kassad one more time, which I've already done. Where when I pick Kassad, it's not just one take, it's just in general, like just his Twitter account. But I didn't want to do that again, so today I went digging in the depths of the HLTV forums, and I struck gold with this amazing thread of how to fix BC game. It doesn't actually say BC game, it's just obvious that that's what he means. So this is how Render, the Latvian user, would make super team with Zontix Aura. I think everyone is waiting for a really good team, but there is only one chance to put together the perfect balance of the universe. Take Magix. It is responsible for the mood of the team, so Simple and Electronic will not go into disappointment after every failure. Take J Legend, because the team needs a real, confident legend who can become a stable foundation for the team. Take Zontix, because its aura will not allow Simple and Electronic to be toxic.
Its aura.
Its aura. Thus, the team will have a lot of calm energy, a positive attitude, and the team will be able to win even a tier 1 tournament. So yeah, first of all, the perfect balance of the universe means winning one tier 1 tournament, maybe. So, that's where Counter-Strike is at. But second of all, roster review. Simple, Electronic, Zontix, JL, and Magix. What grade does it get?
Why does everyone hate Simple? Like, what the fuck is this team? It's the most Reddit-based take. Like, oh, all of our favorite little cuties in one roster. This will work through the power of friendship. Shut the hell up. Like, this is genuinely dreadful. Like, obviously a troll or someone who barely is capable of coherent thought. Which, given they're a HLTV user, probably a bit of both. Probably
a bit of both.
Probably are incoherent and rambling as trolls. Like, this is just nonsense. So I'm not interested in this team at all. There you go. So
some of the responses here include criticizing the pick of putting JL in. One of the few sound takes I think in this thread which is relatively reasonable. The response here was stopped reading at J Legend, and they responded, "He will be able to return after a rest. He has proved in practice that he is a legend, and you are a man who is a hater because you have achieved nothing in life." And also, in response to the fact that he thinks they should sign Zontix, you don't understand anything about psychology, and if you're sad, consult a doctor and they'll prescribe you antidepressants, which should help you. Regards. It's just amazing. He's just really fighting for, like you said, all of his favorite cuties, all of his in order to make his fan fiction into reality.
I think there's a quite high number of Reddit and HLTV users in Counter-Strike terms who come from parts of the world with very regressive views and policies surrounding homosexuality, and this is the only way they feel comfortable expressing it. And I wish they would just be gay. Like, stop pretending you like these players. It's like people who loved Yugi. It's like, no, you've got a weird thing for him sexually. Stop pretending he's good. This is the same vibe. Like, just leave it in your bedroom with your lotion and your tissues. We don't need to know. Let's just talk Counter-Strike, please, because this is simply not it.
Yep. No, so that's today's Cock of the Week. The thread titled Super Team with Zontix Aura.
HLTV forums always disappoint me.
Amazing.
Right, that brings us to another recurring segment. This one without such a snazzy intro. What the hell is that? Sorry, should an orange box appeared on your face?
The orange box, the bundle with Half-Life, Team Fortress 2, and Portal. I'm happy it appeared on my face.
Yeah, we're talking Retake Games, of course. Quacker, you have something for me. You also told me I have to do some live, actual producing, which, as a producer of this show, I find rather disappointing.
Oh, look at me. I have to put a picture onto the screen. That's all you have to do. A single image.
Is difficult.
Here it is. Actually, no, I'll explain the game first before I show this, because this is a new game, and it's called Who's That Bracket? Do the little Pokemon. Do silhouetted Pokemon. Who's that Pokemon? Yeah. It's not Pikachu. The bracket today is from a Counter-Strike event. And I have blanked out 2 of the teams in this playoff bracket. Two of the teams are grayed out. You can still see the scores. You can see in the games you can see who they played. And I want you to guess a few things. You have 5 points on offer, right? So, number 1, what event is it? Number 2, identify the 2 teams who are blanked out. Who they are, etc. And you get a final 2 points if you identify who was the MVP of this event. So this is your history knowledge being tested. I started relatively
Famously
easily.
Dog shit.
No, but I've started relatively easily. I think you're going to be able to get this one.
All right, before you send this to me, if this is the Blast Paris Major,
so I look, okay, I'll tell you it's not the Blast Paris Major, because I don't think I could blank out 2 teams in that bracket without making it absolutely obvious. There's 3 first-time playoff teams in that bracket, as I couldn't make it work. But this one I think we're going to do fine. So this is the image that I want you to consult, and you can put it up on the screen as well.
Hang on, I'm trying to. Just need to very quickly download this picture to my computer, which I can then stick onto
which
the
will
screen.
then get expanded as a zip bomb, giving me full control of your system, Kingt.
Oh no, what will I do? You can see my very uninteresting computer. Maybe you can fix Helldivers 2.
Is that still an issue?
They haven't changed shit about the game, so yeah. And they just told me in my ticket that they'd fix it eventually. I was like, all right, sick. And they haven't.
Yeah.
But there we go. Now we have the bracket on screen for everyone to see. I've hidden chat, because I know chat will spot it before I will. Oh, I know.
Chat might know instantly.
I know this. Okay, so it's Spirit beating Furia. It's, I believe, this is a major.
Could be.
The team you've blanked out that beats NAVI 2-0 is the one I'm stuck on. Ents 2-0 someone as well. That's a problem. This is like 2022 or 2023, right?
The 2 blanked out teams are a quarterfinal exit and the winner of the event.
The winner of the event. Oh god. The problem is, I know the event. Because I remember, I think this is Spirit. Is this the Siren era of Spirit? Or is the logo a hint, actually? Because it's the old Heroic logo, but the current Spirit logo. Had they rebranded at that point? Now, can I use HLTV to just look stuff up? Or would that be cheating?
If you want. Actually, honestly, for these games, usually that is cheating. So I'd say...
Okay, so I won't use it. Use it.
I think you're going to be able to get this one.
I don't think I will, but that's okay. Again, memory is not what I do best. Right. Let's see. NIP lose 2-1 to this team. It could be literally anyone. The team then 2-0 Spirit and 2-0 Navi. It's a best-of-3 grand final. That's why I think major, right? Because pretty much every other event for a long time now has had BO5 major finals. I believe this is going to be the Ents roster pre-Falcons. Like, pre-Falcons taking Snappy and Nerds. I think it's going to be that era events, because otherwise how the hell are they winning a quarterfinal? Who's they beat in that quarterfinal? It could be, at this point, technically Astralis, because they used to make loads of quarterfinals. Just quarterfinals, though. As soon as they made quarterfinals, they'd go home. So I guess that wouldn't be a bad shout. Who could NIP lose to then play a grand final against Navi? Vitality? But Vitality winning a major. They didn't beat Navi in the major final this year.
Vitality have won 2 majors.
Yeah, but the other one was Paris. This ain't Paris.
No, this is not Paris.
And I don't think
there's no Monty, Apex, or ITB. No.
I don't think this is this year's major. Yeah, because NIP are in the quarterfinals and NIP didn't play the major. So I'm still in the 2023, 2022 kind of feeling. Can I look up Wikipedia's list of majors? Or would that give away a win potentially?
I can give you a hint. It would probably give away a win.
No,
I can give you a hint here.
Don't bother with the hint if it's going to give away too much.
No. The hint is fine, I think. It's just giving you a little bit more context. I can give you the hint. So the hint is that the team I've blanked out in the quarterfinal, I blanked them out because they are very telling of what event this is.
So they're
them specifically.
So it's not Astralis. It's a team that kind of fluked a playoff appearance. Or it's very telling in that it gives away the era because it's a team that no longer exists.
Could be.
Fucking hell. Asking so much of my memory right now. So I'm still convinced of the event. Pretty sure I know which event it's supposed to be. I just don't know the name of it. So
you can start guessing that if you want. Yeah.
I'm going to look through my YouTube studio to go find the video I made. How Spirit beat Furia. And specifically, I broke down the vertigo of that series.
Let me see if they did that. Was it?
I believe it's that event.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I am right about the era. I know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's the Antwerp Major. Which means I now know who that team who won it is. Now I need to figure out who Ents beat. So,
I'll give you. It's great. It's the 2022 Antwerp Major, which phase 1.
Phase 1, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't say it, but you knew I knew it. But who did Ents beat to make the semi? That's rough. Ents 2-0 as a team in 2022.
Right, so I'll tell you, some members of chat identified this event immediately.
Of course, because other people are good at remembering stuff. I'm not good at remembering stuff.
Mikey said immediately, Kingt acting like he wasn't literally there with me was the first thing he said.
Yeah, but we missed the quarterfinal day. We only went to the semis and the final. And the quarterfinal day, so who did we see around town? We literally ran into Ents. We literally ran into Ents. Had a whole ass conversation with Snappy. Mikey got a picture with Hades and the entire team. Or Sherbs, rather, should I say. Kenny S was there, but only as a guy taking pictures. G2? Did G2 make playoffs? Which edition of G2 would this even have been? This would have been like an early Nico edition. Would it have been Nico's G2? Yes, it would have been Nico's G2 at that time. Would they have made playoffs here, or were they disappointing again? Both are very valid, but I don't think it is, because I think it's going to be someone else. So we saw Cadian outside the event. That's not very helpful after the quarterfinals, or at some point during the quarterfinals.
So far, nobody in chat has correctly identified who the team is.
The missing team?
Including Mikey. The missing team has so far. I think one person has decided, they just haven't actually written. Okay, 2 people have identified who it is. They just haven't written the name. So yeah, it's a very telling team. It's a very telling. It's very telling who it would be.
Okay, can I get the flag of this team that's missing?
You can.
Is that going to be a giveaway?
A bit, but.
So what? Okay, I'll lose the point. I don't mind. I want to keep guessing, but I want to hear the flag. What's the flag?
Denmark.
Danske flare.
Yeah.
Is it Astralis?
Is that your? Do you want to lock that guess in?
I'm more confused than anything else because I don't feel like it should be Antwerp.
They were at the event, I can say. Astralis were at the event.
Yeah,
we know Astralis had a long non-qualifying streak for majors.
Heroic at this point are Stown, etc.
They were there. The Heroic are in the picture.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying that's the version of Heroic. Those players are taken. Who could Astralis have? Could it be... Is it North? Still North in 2022? No way. No way. It's not North. Okay, I'm going to go with Astralis and just lock that in and lose, but it's fine.
That is a loss indeed. And you are going to be kicking yourself because the team that made the quarterfinal in the Antwerp major is Copenhagen Flames.
Oh shit, it was, yeah.
Yeah, so it was.
Yeah, Yabi's not
Roy,
on Heroic yet,
Nikolas,
still
and Huxley.
refresh.
Yep.
Mr. Galil, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Astralis were at the major. It was their final major before their streak of 5 non-qualifications. But they lost in the challenger stage. And they got knocked out. Yeah, they got knocked out by... Let me see who they lost to. They lost to Spirit and they lost to Liquid. Okay, honestly, that's not too bad. And to Vitality. They lost to Vitality, Spirit, and Liquid in the challenger stage. But they ended up being knocked out. At that time, it was Sipnix, Glaive, Config, Farlig, and Blame F, coached by Trace. G2 were also here. Didn't make playoffs. And I think that's all you talked about. Somebody in chat said VP, and yeah, Outsiders were here as well, but they also didn't make a very deep run.
Yeah, no, Vitality-based playoffs are in a very mediocre ZywOo performance when they lost to Heroic.
Yep. So to get 4 points, you should get this one. Who was the MVP of the event?
Oh, yeah, this is Reign's MVP, isn't it?
Yes, so you have 4 out of 5 points from the first run of Who's That Bracket. That was a good format. That was a really good format.
Yeah, again, I feel like I'm the wrong person to take into this format, especially if it's going to be any deeper than events like this. Like, if we're talking, like, 2016 fucking ESWC, I'm going to be like, Windigo actually won that one. But, you know, I'm not going to know anyone else.
ESWC. Windigo's ESWC.
I'm pretty sure it's 2016.
No, it was WESG.
Oh, whatever it's called. It's the World Cup thing.
Yeah. WESG 2018 edition, yeah.
2018's one they won. Oh, shit. So I'd have been wrong on that anyway.
Over.
If you'd have shown me that bracket, I would have said 2016.
Yeah, no, over AGO, Groovy, Furlan, PHR, Sparrow. Yeah.
Sparrow. Ben Sparrow? Oh my god. He's back. Anyway.
Yeah, Ben Sparrow. Polish Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Right.
Turns out it's just
good format. Yeah. I like that. I'll have a new one next week. And it'll be... I thought this was going to be super easy since you were at the event, but to be honest, you got 4 out of 5 as well, so...
Yeah, I think this is the kind of game that needs jokers as well. Like in the way I have for the grades game, like I'm gonna need some jokers to get anything more obscure than a major.
Yep. All right, that's true.
And even then, I made a video about this event, like specifically that game, that Spirit Furia game. And it took me so long to remember the fuck it was, like which event that was.
Yeah, Patsy, Siren, Dexter, Chopper, Magix was the Spirit roster.
Yeah, if there was ever an event to prove to you that Chopper can lead a team with a really effective T-side, it was that one. Yeah. Like, he actually played really well.
Yeah. Out of those 5 players, he is the only person who's still in Tier 1. Which is saying something.
Yeah. He made Siren into a superstar just by outthinking or outplanning Furia. Like, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah. That was fun. I like that game.
Yeah, frustrating to get asked to use my brain to remember shit rather than just coming up with stuff on the fly. God.
Yep.
Torture. But okay. On to the oldest staple. One of the oldest staples of the show's history. We are on to the Eternal Shuffle. One of the OGest of OG segments. Quacker, what do you have for me?
I have BC Game have signed a player, long rumored to be Rain, and also very much talked about because apparently one player demanded helicopter tours every month.
Helicopter.
As part of the contract, they've signed Electronic.
I'm gonna be honest.
To play alongside Simple.
This is how online I've been for the last week. I've just been sick, miserable, and either playing video games or asleep, just because of my sickness. I missed this entirely. This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Wow.
Okay. Fuck. Well, it's better than having Emmy on the roster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's better. Everything else, though, this is kind of haunting. He's coming in just to rifle, right? He's not cut. Is he calling on this team?
As far as we know, Nexa is still calling.
Thank the heavens. Okay, that brings it up to a B-, I guess. Because if he was calling, it'd be like a D. But, sure. Okay. I don't mind this as much as I thought I would when you told me it. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't that bad. This isn't that bad. All right. BC Game, you're trying to cook. This can go very drastically differently. Like, you are cooking a fillet. If you get it right, fantastic. If you butcher it the way Electronic has butchered his other rosters, it's going to be overcooked to fuck, and it's going to be terrible. Please choose wisely from now on in.
Yep. I give it about 5 months until Electronic is calling this team anyway, and I thought about it, and as I thought about what do we think is gonna happen here, I kind of wanted it to be JL in a weird way, because I feel like that sort of fits for him. He's full time in content now. It's a good way for him to get $1 gazillion in salary, keep playing at a tier 2 level. He's playing semi-seriously. I honestly don't think BC Game are taking, as much as it's like their return to tier 1. The other day, Simple skipped an official to play Dota. So like, how serious are you really taking it at that point? And it's like, could you... So JL for me sort of fit the bill, because it was like, this is a nice way for him to come back in the competition. He can play a couple of events, dropping a 114 at $1 gazillion in salary, in monthly salary, then transition into streaming for BC Game or something like that. It kind of fit the bill for him. But yeah, they've gone for Electronic. A lot of people thought it was going to be Rain. I'm assuming they talked to Rain as well. But yeah. I don't really like it, but it could turn out well. I don't think Electronic is going to be dropping 114s. He definitely could, but I think he's been out of it mechanically. Like, it's been a long time since we saw like a huge performance out of Electronic at this point. So, but yeah, what do I know? They also have Andu, so there's players who can do work here. That's about it, to be honest. Next move after the 2025 fall season. Abdi is leaving Metisport to be replaced by someone as yet unknown. And it could be someone non-Swedish.
No. Hey, get fucked. Oh my god. It's not everything, but it's a part of the rot Metasport removed. Like, oh my god. Have they needed a change? Like, honestly, Zevez, you're hanging on by a thread, bud. Like... The decisions you lot have made, abysmal, over the last sort of 2 years. Fingers crossed they get in a coach who can change this up, right the ship. It's been a nightmare. Honestly, Metasport was supposed to be like the saving grace of the Swedish scene, instead of being just another failure. Like, another cataclysmic failure. So, no. I'm not sad to see him go. But I don't even think he's the worst offender. I think whoever's been making those GM decisions deserves the same sort of treatment. So, not a fan of what they had going on. This is only a small step.
Yeah, I think Abdi's a good guy. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders as well. He always speaks really... Again, a lot of the time we have to judge these things out of the image they portray outwards, and I think Abdi's always sounded very smart. I think the tactics have been pretty sound. But it's like, at some point, you sort of have to face the music when the results are like this, and at some point it is his responsibility when he's played with Shine, he's played with Chiquinho, and he's played with ZTR, and it just sort of keeps going this way. Then, and Plopsky as well was calling for a bit. Then you sort of have to be like, yeah, to a degree, you are responsible for this as well. So yeah, I'm not happy to see him go. I won't say that, but it's like, yeah, they could definitely use some new blood here. So it's gonna be cool to see who they sign. Open to English speaking coaches as well, which I know is like, you obviously could have a Swedish team with an English speaking coach, but I wonder if that is opening up the door for a mixed roster as well, because you're sort of running out of players you can put into the team if and when you want to replace Isak, Lumen, and these sort of players. Because Metasport really doesn't have the same pull anymore. Like, maybe if Eyeballers or Alliance were also floundering, you could maybe you could pick up an Era or a Poi or something like that. But now, especially with Minds out of the picture as well, I do sort of feel like the fact that Zeus goes out and says we are also open to non-Swedish coaches, I do sort of feel like that means we are also open to signing non-Swedish players in the future, which would be an interesting development. But hey, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
2 Swedish coaches taking their leave in the same week after Big disappointments. The other one being the Swedish national team. Fuck off, you Danish cunt. Sorry, this was a big thing this week. Our national team coach. We lost to Kosovo a second time. Like for a second time in 2 weeks, we lost to Kosovo in the World Cup qualifier. So he was immediately fired, and now we're apparently signing Graham Potter.
Legend.
So we're gonna have fun with that. Anyway, yeah, getting info. The American team have been signed by, and I quote, Dust2 US, obscure Indian sports and event agency. The Sports Front, but they are gonna play under the name Voca.
Voca.
Yeah, Voca.
Does that mean something in Hindi? I don't know. Like what sort of name?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea.
Well, weird. I guess. At least they got someone in.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get paid salaries.
Yep. Supposedly the only event this organization have ever done was a friendly football game between retired players of Barcelona and Real Madrid in April 2025. Cool. Like, so yeah, that's who's paying them now, and yeah, they also added Carson. I think they've been playing with Carson for a while, but it's basically Shane, Snav, Slump, Dia, and Carson, coached by Semphis. So good luck, and yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Johnny Speeds have cut Svedjehed and will temporarily be trialing Lekale.
And the crowd goes mild. Anyway, like it's the most this week. The Swedish needed to make a roster move ever. Like, okay, very uninteresting.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, so it's all about
unmoved.
it. I'll throw this one in now because it has just happened. Are you aware of the WOPA player Skodo?
I know the name. I've never thought much about him, like in terms of
the name. I know the
general.
man. Well, you can know one more thing about him. He has been banned by Acros, and he is suspended until further notice.
Sweet.
Yeah. Right. Eternal Fire have cut Masked and Beanox, and they've added, that's supposed to be Rime and Chirezi.
They've gone back to this. What? Oh, okay. So
yeah,
they literally used the Polish players to get a VRS, then cut them all.
That's exactly what they did. Yes.
You know what's funny? Beanox wasn't even playing bad.
No, he was really good.
Like, wasn't even playing that badly for them, but yeah, okay, they're back to being Turkish again. I guess I can watch a game or two of theirs to see if they're any good, but this is so random. This is a really random thing to have done. And kind of a piss take, but hey, I don't have any particular allegiance to these Polish players, so I guess use them and bin them. Eternal Fire.
Yeah, that was the entire point of the Poles being here from the start, and sad for them, I guess. But hey, them's the rules. Thunder Down Under form as Dexter, Liaz, Alistair, ASAP, and TJP. That was my poor attempt at an Australian accent. I've never talked to an Australian person. Thunder Down Under is Dexter, Liaz, Alistair, ASAP, and TJP. What do you think about that roster?
The roster basically is just like a D, the impression an F. Yeah, that's about where I stand on that. I don't really have much hope for this mess to do anything.
Yeah, but it puts a nail in the coffin for Rooster, which is actually kind of a historic in a way for Australia, because they have been around for like 5 years now. Only Chelios and Terry remain because Slimy also left the team, so there's no core anymore. Bye bye, Australian cocks everywhere. Hashtag fear the cock. Saw have changed their coach. Sidox is out and Mozaza is in.
Desperately looking to replace Barry at this point, I saw. But I don't see how they can, and I don't know who this Mozaza guy is. And apparently neither is anyone else. No coaching history, no team history.
I looked him up. He he is on Wikipedia in several other games. But he comes from
Other
Valorant,
games.
I think. Yeah. Hang on, I'll find him. I'm pretty sure he came from League.
What?
Let me. Yeah, I'll have to find this guy. Mosasa Wikipedia. Maybe it was a different guy I'm thinking about. But no, yeah, Overwatch. He played Overwatch in like the late 10s, and he also played Valorant for Cloud9, and then he coached Valorant as well. And I think he was also like assistant coaching in some other game, completely separate, if it was Dota or League of Legends, and now he's coaching in Counter-Strike. So he's potentially a 4-game, like playing in 4 different disciplines, which is quite kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange move. I obviously have to give it an F because he played Valorant. So, yeah, not a great move. Not a great move to me. It is just literally, we can't replace Berry. You just can't replace Berry like this. Like, he's just too good.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah. That's about it. AAB, the Danish team, have cut Sync and Boyi, and they've signed Behind X and Queenix. So.
Behind X and Queenix. Yeah. Danish recycling too strong. Far too strong. What do I know? Where do I recognize Behind X from? Oh, Molotov. I remember you were casting them, weren't you?
Yes. Stesso plays there.
It's not a particularly inspiring set of moves, to be honest. Arb don't exactly have a lot of pedigree though, so for them these are probably like quite significant, like kind of standings upgrades as far as their players and their place in the scene. But I don't see it as a particularly big upgrade.
Behind X is a caller as well, so he's coming in to do that. And yeah, Stesso played on Molotov as well, so they're sort of reuniting, which I always think is positive in a way. Like there's degrees to it. You know, you obviously don't want to recycle too much talent, but when you have like 2 players from a previous lineup, one of them go off to find success elsewhere, and then they reunite, that's sort of positive to me, because that feels like, okay, you wanted to go back to something positive. That's a good change a lot of the time, I think. So yeah, pretty cool. Wildcard Academy have added Amsalem of Drilla's fame.
It's a weird one. Kind of interesting. You know, its own little way. I'm like, ooh, Amsalem. Someone's giving him a shot in the academy. It's probably where he needs to be, is an academy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't mind it in that sense. We'll see how it works out for Wildcard Academy in terms of their results. So far, not great. But it's only been 1 game. And Wopa apparently are cheaters. Or formerly played with a cheater. So, you know, see what happens.
Wait, what? Where did that come from? Weren't we talking about Wildcard Academy?
Yeah. They just lost to Wopa this morning.
Oh, right, sorry. I missed that train of thought where I was like,
we were talking about it this morning as well. They were playing this morning.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Odic have removed Pank.
I'm going to look at the pictures to see which one Pank is.
He's the guy who got suspended for
the kitty
sexual harassment.
Kind of.
Yeah.
The kind of kitty fiddler. I don't know what exactly he was.
Kind
I forget the exact story. But I'm going to call him a kind of kitty fiddler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who's coming in? It's half a move.
I don't think they've played anything. Actually, let's see. Maybe they played in. Nope, they haven't played anything without him.
Okay.
And they haven't said anything.
Can't really judge it fully, but
we'll
see.
Meh. Ens. Kuben is now a free agent. And I wanted to use this as a springboard. Where would you put Kuben right now as a coach?
He's retired, so at his own house, probably.
Oh, is he? Wait, is he like fully retired from Counter-Strike? Did he say that?
I don't know. His current team is retired. I don't know if he's actually retired from CS as a coach, but let me see.
Meh. Give him to one of these
No,
Polish teams. Maybe they can go from being 7th best to 3rd best.
No, okay, yeah, he is still coaching, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... No, I mean, you can put him on a variety of Polish teams who are, like, relatively young, and he'll bring something to them. So, no, I think there's a lot of doors open to him. We'll see what he ends up choosing. But...
Yep. And finally, Mix. XBNE, but with Zerofix and Knock, are no longer playing with Synopsy.
Are they playing with someone else?
No. It's half a move. But
a lot of half moves today, aren't there? Jeez.
We won't talk about it unless we talk about it today. So, sort of where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, Synopsy is not a bad player, but replaceable at this point. So, see what comes of it.
Down to Juan Flatro and Sceneri out of that old BNE core with Knock and Zerofix. And I thought that these guys weren't playing at all, but they're actually, like, they show up in
they've got
different little events.
Yeah.
Right, and that's it. That's the Eternal Shuffle. A lot of bottom scrape today.
Yeah. Some pretty low-level teams, but also a lot of half moves. Quite annoying. But yeah, that brings us to the final segment of the show, the classic Terminator. It's Prospects of the Week.
Yes.
Quacker, who have you picked?
I have picked Sowalio, and I've picked it because it seems like Nemiga have done it again. They're carrying on the torch of Flammes and Zwei, because the player who is replacing the both of them, in a way, is Sowalio. And they won an event this week. They won the Nodwin Clutch Series 1. And he was really good. He was a 121. He was the best player on the team. By some margin. What? Who was the best?
Lear.
That's bullshit. No, he wasn't. In the
Nodwin Gaming Clutch, Lear's higher rated.
Oh, okay, but Nodwin didn't show up in my filter because he's younger. He's older than 22. Oh, come on. That's such a small difference. Sowalio did the work. Sowalio is the guy. And he's also, like they're playing against Trizza 3 right now, and he's doing really good there as well. Look, overall, he hasn't been that good, but like Nemiga, like they sort of struck gold twice, where they had Flammes, and then he got sold. Then they replaced him with Zwei. Zwei ended up being as good, if not better, and then he got sold. And then they signed Sowalio to replace Zwei, and when we had this up on the Eternal Shuffle, I remember saying, what if they do it again? What if they find another guy? The average so far since joining is like a little bit here and there, but having a good week like this is a good sign. So keep it up, and maybe there's another player being sold to whatever CIS team is going to be the best at that whenever that move happens.
Yeah, we'll see. I think a lot of top teams right now, priorities probably don't lie in the talent front. It's probably about figuring out a lot of other things. But no, Sowalio, this is the best he's played since joining this team, pretty much. I've just been very unimpressed, unmoved by everything Nemiga have done, but him especially, like as the replacement to Zwei, the replacement to Flammes, whatever you want to call them. Not really. That was my conclusion. Just not really. But no, this is a nice standout performance. Maintained so far in terms of the next game he's playing. Long may it last.
Yep, he's stomping Trizza 3 right now as well, so yeah.
Good.
Very nice.
My pick is Demon. Quite simply. I could have picked Jugs, but I'm not as interested in Jugs. Jugs was very clutch this week. I could talk about both, screw it. For Foot, as they made the playoffs of CS Asia Championships, Demon was just a fragger, really. And they've created actually one of the most interesting, like, Mirage setups I've ever seen between the way they've set up that CT side is with Launex, who I thought was brought in to be an aggro sort of player, playing the B anchor with Demon on short. It's kind of a cracked bomb site in that sense, but it means that A site is being held together by Jugs, Symmetry, and Crabini. You're probably a little more dubious of that holding together, but both Jugs and Demon having a fantastic run at this event to get them to the playoffs. Really impressed with the talent they have on that team still, considering I didn't think much of the team post Makaze. I was like, they're cycling through some weird options. It's not really going to work out. They find a way to still be good and still play good CS. That's the most important part. Like, this FUT side at the CS Asia Championships weren't just 5th, 6th because they got lucky in their matchups or anything. They beat FaZe outright. They beat Pain. They were able to take a map off Legacy, and they played good CS the entire time. It wasn't just let's rush B and pray. It was good CS with a plan, with a system in place. It made sense to me. I liked the way they played CS. And those guys stood out in terms of the fraggers who delivered, who brought them over the line when they needed, just a little something. Yeah. Demon, technically, honorable mention Jugs, my prospect of the week.
Yeah. Keeps being a good team. This was maybe, in a way, like yet another first trial in a way. Like it's a lot of firsts for them, slowly moving into tier 1, and this is one of those steps. They don't have anything lined up for the rest of the year in that sense, so it's going to be they're going to keep playing online events and maybe the odd small LAN, but heading into the next year, they're in a pretty good position. They have really good players, and this is sort of this performance out of Demon and Jugs against a team like FaZe as well. Really like a strong LAN side as well, like to be able to take them down twice even over, winning 3 out of 4 maps. Really good. So yeah. Let's see what happens with that. Tier 1 ready for sure is Demon looking, to me at least.
Yeah, no. They look very talented. But yeah, that's the show. That's the entire show. We kept it relatively quick this week. We didn't go to borderline 3 hours. Thank the Lord. We still started late, so it's still basically 2 o'clock for me, and I haven't had lunch. But hey, it's better. It's getting there. It really is getting there.
It's getting there.
So yeah, everyone who tuned in live, thank you very much. Yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a comment telling us your thoughts on any of the topics we've had today. If you're watching the VOD, you made it this deep. Congratulations. You are our hero. And yeah, just leave a comment in chat.
Comment what you think.
No interrupting mid fucking sentence, please. Comment telling us your thoughts on the Antwerp major. And that's all for this one. We'll see you next